Madeleine? What's up with those tears in your eyes? What happened when you shut down and all the amber lights turned into red?
Man, Joe, do you think we'll be able to pass communication class?
You know, Jason, I really think that we're not really going to be able to pass it, but you're going to get a higher grade than me.
What's the problem, guys?
We're talking about Comm 1 class with Professor Hunter. I heard she likes to fail students. Also, she's really tough.
Yeah, man. All I know, I might be just dropping her class before I even take it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, guys, I took her class and I got A+. Dude, I can show you 4 ways to consider in her class to make it easier.
What? Yeah!
Alright then, guys. I'm here to teach you some tips on how to succeed in your Communication 1 class. For example, I'm going to teach you how to handle speech anxiety, do visual aid, how to make a PowerPoint, and informative speech. So, come back here after you guys are done, and we'll start working on it. Alright then, let's work really hard and make them the great Communication 1 students. So, do any of you guys have any problems speaking in public?
Dude, yeah, we do. And in all honesty, I get all sweaty and I get nauseated, especially when I see a good-looking girl. And I try to talk to her, but it's not happening.
Well, don't worry about that. I can help you with that. But this part's of speaking, so I don't think you should have a girl on the to-do list right now. But anyways, do you guys actually know any of the problems that people have?
No, we really don't.
There's some problems that you guys might not know. For example, cotton mouth, sweating, freezing, high pitch, nausea, and brain dead. Well, anyways, you guys look lost right now. Well, it's okay. I'm just gonna actually show you guys each of those common anxieties and also teach you how to solve it. May you guys have experienced dry mouth while speaking in public? Well, all that, we call it cotton mouth. Cotton mouth is the result of fear in talking. Let's try to see if Joseph knows how to solve cotton mouth. As you can see, Joe is eating gum to prevent cotton mouth. Rule number 1, do not eat gum. The reason for that is loud snapping. You do not want that. Wow, try to prevent cotton mouth. Now let's go see how Jason's doing with cotton mouth. As you can see, Jason's drinking warm water. And warm water actually helps cotton mouth. And if you don't have warm water while presenting, you should actually bite on the side of your tongue, because that will actually keeps your cheeks moist. In public speaking, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys get really nervous, and then your hands, your face, everywhere just start getting really sweaty. Now let's see how we solve this problem.
Time to dry myself off a little bit. Hey, Chase, don't you got a speech, man?
Yeah, man.
Hey, here, use this, man. Take the sweat off your...
Oh, thanks, man.
No problem, man.
The most common way to control sweat is usually you bring a handkerchief and you slowly clean yourself off. Casually, like how Joe was doing it earlier. And he taught Jason how to do it now. So Jason will now control his sweating. I'm pretty sure all you guys done this before. Where Joe is completely frozen. And when he's frozen, it's usually because he's scared stiff of who's in front of him, which is the audience. And Joe, whoa. He's pretty much like a deer looking at headlights, frozen and stiff. But yeah, to solve that, all you gotta do is actually move. Now let's show an example of how high pitch works.
Michael Phelps was the best Olympic swimmer of all times. Michael Phelps won it all the time. Michael Phelps won all the time.
This is high pitch. You do not want that because the way he's talking, no one can understand because the pitch is too high or too fast. So now let's say how it is with good pitch and good speed.
Michael Phelps is the best Olympic swimmer of all times.
If you really want to know how you're actually speaking, high or low or perfect, you should actually take the time to record your own voice and listen to it. And don't forget, the most important part, you actually have to breathe. By breathing, you can anticipate how fast you're talking and you can actually control your pace. Have you ever felt sick or that you have adrenaline pumping all over your body and you start to feel nauseous? What's wrong, Joe?
I don't feel so good. I feel sick. I have a presentation coming up. I just can't do it. I didn't even eat.
Dude, I got a solution for that, man. If you look at my FU belt, I actually have a cookie for you. Because you cannot do a presentation with an empty stomach. So you should eat something to soothe your soul and do good on a presentation. Instead of me explaining this one, this actually have Jason show it.
Michael Phelps is the best Olympic.
As you can see, Jason was brain dead.
So how do you fix brain dead?
Simple. Just don't try to memorize your lines. Because if you memorize your lines word by word, if you stumble upon one word that you can't remember, everything else will go blank. So try visualizing yourself just talking to your friends. But in a professional manner. Don't forget, visual aid helps too. And visual aid will actually help you memorize or keep your IDs up. Now that we know different ways of anxieties that haunt us, let's try learning more of how to be successful in public speaking. Before you actually start giving your speech, you should actually practice it beforehand. Because if you practice it, you actually have time to change anything you need to fix or have your tone actually relating to audience. And when you actually do practice, you have to make sure you deliver your speech in variations of tone. And when you practice, you actually have to start or beginning of your speech all the way to the end. And restart it over and over until you actually have it down. And when you do, you actually time yourself and see how fast you're doing. Before you give a speech, you should actually take a deep breath and release it. When your body breathes, your body feels relaxed. And when it's relaxed, you're comfortable. And when you're giving a speech, you always have to remember to breathe. Because when you're breathing, it'll help you relax. And when you're relaxed, it makes your body comfortable. And when you're giving a speech, always remember to breathe. Because it'll calm your body down throughout your speech. To be an effective speaker, you have to actually see yourself as that person. Just like the Nike logo. Just do it.
I got this. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as Joe, but instead you should just walk up in confidence and look at your audience and say it in your head. You got this. Think just like
52, 53, 54.
As you can see, Jason's exercising. It actually helps him relax his body. And it works well right before you do a speech. And a few little other things you can do is hop in place. Or even making a power pose to release your tension from your body. Hey Joe, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just recording a music video for speech.
Music video?
Yeah.
I thought we were making a regular video.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll just finish this one first and we'll get on the video itself, okay?
Okay. Well, can you get out of this shot?
Yeah, jerk!
Another way to be successful in your speech is actually by recording yourself. This will actually help you see your body language and fillers that you make. For example, or Because when you actually record yourself, you can minimize those unneeded body movements. By recording yourself, you can actually watch those and study those areas that needed to be fixed in your speech. When you actually dress up accordingly to your presentation, you actually have a confidence boost. And then in the long run, you actually know that you can do it. Say no to mood alternating substance. Because whatever you do not take the 3 C's. Coffee, colas, and chocolate. Because those will actually make you hyper, or even worse, increase your anxiety before your speech. Just from the previous part we spoke on cottonmouth, just drink warm water, as Jason did. Finally, don't take any drug substance to try to reduce your anxiety before your speech, because those chemicals can actually impair you before your speech instead.
Let's take a look at visual aids and PowerPoints and how they will help you in your speech course. There are different ways that'll help spice up your speech in a presentation. Let's first work with a few rules on visual aids. I'll just list some rules that you need to know for speech. First off, you have to make sure that your visual aid is visible towards your audience.
I got from the cereal box. It's one of its kind.
If the object is too small to see from a distance, don't use it in your speech. What you want to do is make sure that the visual aid is visible towards your audience. So bring in a poster board, or even bring the object to class. Second, you want to make it presentable, not cluttered.
All and X's don't like each other, so this is where all the action happens.
Have it organized where everyone can see it and not too much information on it. Including that if you have a poster board, have one idea on it. Don't cram too many in at once. And for every main point that you have, if you're going to make a PowerPoint, give it its own slide. Instead of always bringing in a poster board or using a PowerPoint presentation, why don't you bring in the physical item itself? Show people how it works.
And you shoot.
Let's see how not to use visual aids in this scenario.
How to fold a frog in origami. All you need is a piece of paper. Here. And get a triangle.
As you can see, when Michael was giving us his little demonstration about origami, he lost eye contact, got distracted, and didn't know where he really was. This happens to most of us during a speech where we actually lose eye contact and we're really into what we're doing compared to what we want to show our audience. But it was at least good where Michael was showing us the steps that he was taking, and when he pulled up triangle. Now that we have some basic ideas of how visual aids are used, let's take a look into PowerPoints. When you first start out your presentation, you want to start out with a blank slide, either a white or a black dark screen. Reason being, you want to keep your audience on the edge of their seat, wanting more. Just like a poster, you don't want to have too many pictures or ideas placed on your slides in a PowerPoint. As well, you need to keep it professional. You can't have Clifford the big red dog in your presentation if you're going to compare a cost between a dog and a rabbit. Instead, you should use a German Shepherd and compare it to your cute cuddly bunny in your presentation. As well, you want to keep your sentences nice and short on the PowerPoint, no more than 3 on each slide. Or you could use exclamatory claims. On a PowerPoint, you don't want to push too many ideas or information on one slide, for it'll become too confusing, it'll become jumbled, and your audience will also lose train of thought in what your main points are and what you are trying to get through to them. If you're going to be using numbers on your PowerPoint, you want to make sure that it is going to be readable and rememberable by your audience. You can't use an example such as 1.98,600.2 kids have been killed in crossfires. You want to keep it straight and easy to the point where it'll be an easy number for your whole audience to encompass. As in, 2 billion kids have been killed in crossfires in Oakland. It's more easier for people to remember simple numbers compared to the exact numbers that you find out in your research.
Okay, everyone, let's now talk about informative speech. Now, in an informative speech, you are informing your audience on something new or expanding on what the audience already know by providing new information on the topic. You should consider giving out oral citations to back up or give credit to your speech by using facts, statistics, testimony with the use of examples. Let's break down the last material for you in a way that is understandable. When using a fact, make sure it's up to date, as well as when you give a fact, don't place it in your opinion. When using statistics, make sure you round off complicated numbers. With this, you don't want to overuse statistics because too many numbers will make your speech more complicated. Testimony uses the voice of the people to relate to your audience. A testimony should be used to connect the message to your listeners about the point you are trying to get through with them. Finally, examples, which you can use in a brief manner or extended way, as well as using factual or hypothetical versions of it. When you use this, to make sure to let the listeners know if the fact is true or not in the beginning or the end. Don't overdo a story where you use ethos to build up a relationship of stirring the audience's emotions and then bring up in the end that is not true. These are a few things that you can use to work on informative speech.
So Jason, Joe, do you both feel ready to take a peek at your one class with Dr. Hunter?
Oh yeah!
Alright!
But first, before we get started, I think I should wipe my sweaty hands.
Right behind you.